It's hard for anybody else in the world, in corporate business, to survive what Vince was accused of, and he was guilty of it. And you say, and he comes back, and hell, he's stronger now than what he was.
Dutch, the momentum. Yes, go ahead. Jesus.
No, I was going to say, remember, I told you before we went on air.
Yeah.
That the girls tonight only went 2 minutes. Zelina Vega and Bailey. They went 2 minutes. And I'm thinking, why? Well, then I got to thinking, which is very dangerous for me, by the way. I got to thinking, and because last week I'm watching the tribal trial, the court, and I thought, damn, this is long. And they were freaking in the back. I heard, oh, it's going over, it's going over, it's going over. But when they got those ratings back, they went
3 million at peak. That's what it was.
3 million. And when's the last time Raw or SmackDown got 3 million people?
It's been a minute.
You ain't kidding. Minute. And they says, and I thought this. Actually, it went a little longer than I thought it should have gone, but Paul Heyman laid down the story. It's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. And then when Solo took it, and the crowd got quiet when he took the mic. And then when he started talking, then they started their little fighting in the ring. It was perfect. And when Paul Heyman was left alone in the ring with Jay. That chair was there. The people said, oh, they come up. I said, you can't, Paul Heyman, he's not a type guy you can hit with a bunch of stuff.
No. And what I liked is they did a great job of teasing. Like, they teased you first, and then Solo hits Jay from behind. Because Jay's he's just moving in like a shark that knows he's got this fish, right? And he's just moving in. He's just taking his time. He's going to savor it. He's going to enjoy it. Crowd's getting hyped up. Solo comes from behind, and he ends up taking him out. And you think, oh, well, that was just a giant tease. They're not really going to hit Paul Heyman tonight. And then Heyman ends up getting the super kick later anyway and goes out flat on his back. So they teased us first, and then they still rewarded us, which they don't typically do, and I appreciated that.
I hated the way he took the super kick because Paul's not a bump guy. He just flopped down. But at least he got it, and
it might have looked better from a different camera angle, to be fair.
Something, but at least he got it. And I think they did a great job with it. This whole tribal thing they have done with the Usos and Roman is actually a piece of beauty. It's a piece of artwork, and everybody played their role, and it was laid out, and they took their time on it. And I still think they got a lot more run in this. Everybody saying, oh, they're going to take it SummerSlam, then they're going to switch it, they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. I would take it as far as I could logically take it without pissing off my fan base.
I mean, if you're getting 3 million viewers, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Here's the ultimate test, Dutch, because next week SmackDown is on FS1. Can Roman Reigns and the Usos, with that storyline coming back next week, can that actually get SmackDown good ratings on FS1? Because it never does. It never does well on FS1.
That's a good test. Okay, why is SmackDown on FS1? What's going on?
I think it might have something to do with the Women's World Cup. If I'm not mistaken, I think that gets started next week, so that might be why.
The Women's World Cup in soccer?
Yes.
God.
Hey, they're going for 3 World Cups in a row.
I don't give a shit.
USA.
I don't give a crap.
Rose Lavelle, Pride of Cincinnati, baby. Let's go.
Let me ask you something. What do you think soccer will do on Fox?
Just soccer, period?
No. What's replacing SmackDown? You said World Cup?
Yeah, Women's World Cup. I mean, it depends on the country. I think the United States national team will do well.
Okay, what do you think they'll draw? How many fans?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Million?
Sure, I think it will go north of $1 million. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's a big drop from 3, though.
But yeah, but that was 3 at a peak. I understand what you're saying.
But they usually do. They're doing now.
I have a base knowledge of what WWE typically gets. I don't know what soccer draws on Fox. I don't know what the World Cup draws on Fox. I don't know. I don't have that information in my head, so it's hard for me to gauge. You may not like soccer, Dutch, but it's the fastest growing sport in this country.
It is. But they've been trying to, okay, we're getting this conversation. They've been trying to grow soccer for 10 or 15 years. And
they're working, and they're succeeding now. You got the MLS that's going to be up to 20, up to 30 teams here in a couple of years. They got the big deal with Apple Plus.
Don't matter.
Messi's coming over.
It don't They could have Pele come back. It ain't going to help them. Is that his name, Pele?
The only thing that is, in my opinion, that is really holding soccer back in the United States is the fact of, unlike every other sports league in the United States, whether it's hockey, whether it is basketball, baseball, football, the difference is the MLS is not the best league of that sport in the world. It's not, and it probably never will be. It's always going to be the English Premier League. So if it's not number one, if it's not the best, it's hard for people to get engaged in that because your best players mid-season could get sold in the league in Italy.
Well, you made a good point. If it's not the best, how they expect to upgrade the viewership?
I mean, they are. It's still growing.
NFL is the best.
Oh, there's no competing against the NFL. It's a juggernaut.
But that's the greatest football league in the world, right? And the baseball, it's the greatest league in the world. But if you take soccer and all of a sudden they're playing younger brother to British and European soccer, how are you going to grow it here?
I mean, it is growing, but what I'm saying is the hesitancy for people, the reason why it's hard for them to get invested and get, like I said, to get invested in their teams. Like FC Cincinnati, right? They're the best team in the MLS this year. They are only 5 years into the league. We still have people who are hesitant to jump on board with them because our best player heading into this season, mid-season,
Steve Austin called me.
Midway into the season.
That's not a beer, it's Dr. Pepper.
Midway into the season. All right, okay, never mind.
Okay, we're supposed to be talking wrestling.
Yes.
American wrestling is probably the greatest wrestling in the world right now. I don't give a crap what Japan is doing. I don't care. But I think now the WWE is probably the best organization in wrestling right now. And AEW, they preach a good game, but I don't think they can touch WWE. I really don't.
Not at the moment, at least not in the rating standpoint, because AEW is struggling to get above 1 million right now on any of their shows. Doing well for the pay-per-view buys, doing well selling tickets overseas, by the way. So there's varying levels of success.
Endeavor made a wise choice in taking that company over, and we'll see where it leads.
Got to be interesting to see how, when that deal is finally final, how things start shaking. Because you want to talk about being patient. There's some changes that are going to be in the works, whether it's how things are looked, how things are conducted, how things are done creatively, whatever it is. Maybe some different match concepts. There are some changes that are going to be in the works once that deal is finalized. It's going to be interesting to see what those look like.
Did you ever think Vince was out totally?
Yes, I did.
Well, I thought he was. It's hard for anybody else in the world, in corporate business, to survive what Vince was accused of, and he was guilty of it. And you say, and he comes back, and hell, he's stronger now than what he was. I mean, maybe not. If he really wanted something to go his way, he could probably push his way in there.
Oh, absolutely.
But all of a sudden,
he strong-armed his way back into the company. I do think he was out of the loop and not involved in much while Stephanie and Triple H and Nick Khan were running things. And then when he decided, I want back in, he had the legal power to do it. He had the legal power. He had the pressure. He had all of it to do it. He went
and the shares
and went full scorched earth to the point where his own daughter resigned from the company for him to get back in. And I think everybody was worried about what that was going to mean. The fan base, I mean, which was Vince McMahon getting back in there and everything, all the positive changes that have been made in WWE were going to go by the wayside and things were going to go back to the way that things were. Vince is still on high, making some changes here or there. Most of them from the reporting that we've gotten is maybe some reshuffling of matches, maybe cutting time down on some certain segments or maybe cutting them or things of that nature, but nothing like as far as, no, bury this guy. No, we can't have that guy win. Not so much in the weeds as he would put it. I truly think that now they have had Triple H and Vince McMahon have found the right balance to where they're working well with one another. The shows are still selling out. The fans are still excited about the future. They're getting new talent over.
Let me ask you. Here's a thought.
Table works, and sometimes what Vince suggests works. I think they found a good balance.
Here's a thought. What if Vince knew all along, a year before the Endeavor thing? And he probably did. So let's drive the business down. And all of a sudden, when it sells, let's bring it up. Show them what a great deal they got. I don't put that past them because it looks like you have to not give a crap for some of that stuff we were forced to watch a year ago. Yes or no?
I'm no conspiracy theorist, but that does make sense. I mean, because they were doing some weird stuff with their budgeting.
No kidding.
They were trimming the roster so thin, and just nothing they seemed to do made sense. And everybody was very disheartened with the program, the fans, and the wrestlers who were still there. It just seemed like they were driving it into the ground for some reason. And you yourself on this program over a year ago said, what if Vince is trying to orchestrate a sale? And a year later, here we are.
I said that.
You did say that.
I'm the Nostradamus. You start calling me Nostradamus.
Now, the only thing where you lose me on that is there's no way that Vince thought all of the accusation stuff and lawsuits and non-disclosure agreements and all that stuff was going to make it onto the Wall Street Journal. So I don't think he took that into account. But
no, I think that was a setup too. I think it was a setup to get the ball rolling. Now, he may have been surprised. I'm not saying. I'm saying the way it worked out was perfect for Vince. And finally, he stepped in after it run his route. Hell, everybody knows what Vince is like anyway. That didn't, people said, oh, I can't believe he did. They know that. He's a guy. He's Vince.
Yeah.
And I don't think it surprised anybody.
I'll say this. I'll say this one real quick to close that out. We know Vince is a brilliant businessman. We know he's a brilliant businessman. And we knew he had the power to orchestrate this move exactly how he wanted it to go. There was nobody that could stop him. And it worked out perfectly. So I'm not 100% lying that he planned everything out piece by piece like a chess match like you're laying it out, but it wouldn't be that hard to sell me on it, honestly, either.
Warner Brothers Disney, I think they were in it to the end. You know why I say that?
I don't know why you say that. When
they chose Endeavor, what did Warner Brothers Disney do with AEW? They went into business with them. Makes sense?
Sorry, it's Warner Brothers Discovery.
Maybe not.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, Discovery. But makes sense, right? They were rebuffed, and they would have loved to have WWE.
Oh, I'm sure they would have.
And all of a sudden, they didn't get it. Okay, let's go to the next best thing.